Objective Alpha is now ours.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another edition of the YouTube channel, Too Many Pluggers and Delta X-Ray. Today we live stream a little bit a Battlefield 4. See if we can have some fun here on this map.
Enemy helicopter just north of your current position.
One of those battlefields that I, besides Operation Metro, actually really don't know the map so well, unfortunately. I'm gonna do some sort of a crazy base raid now.
Listen up. With eyes on an enemy tank, just west of where you are. Objective Delta has been lost. There's a hostile plane. Hostile plane west of your position.
So yeah, let's check out over here a little bit.
Objective Delta is now under our control. I have eyes on an enemy helicopter operating to your west.
Trying to get here a little bit behind it. Go a little bit around, see who's sneaking around over here. So yeah guys, a little bit playing Battlefield 4. For some fun, you know. I played this for a long time. Where is he? Oh, he's over there, man, in the building. Yeah, you got also some graphs on the upper right corner of the CPU and the GPU. We're now again on the 4500 and the W600. 16 gigs of 2666. That's what we are using in this moment, and an NVMe drive. Running in medium graphics, 720p.
Enemy heavy armor has been identified south of your location. Objective Charlie now neutralized. Now control Objective Charlie. Looks like we got some enemy infantry south of your location.
So yeah guys, let's have some fun on the old Battlefield 4. Yeah, got a little bit, I don't know, I need to say it. A little bit, last couple of days that I was playing, holy moly, nice shot there with the SRAW. Which is sort of a law or a javelin. Yeah, it was a little bit, the last couple of days, playing a little bit Battlefield 1, but I wasn't really, having so much fun, to be very honest. I think I've played it a little bit too much. Yeah, also true because I've really played it really a lot. I think I have 160 hours or something in Battlefield 1 over my 2 accounts in the last 4 months or something. So yeah. Now a little bit fed up of playing it. And Battlefield 5, you know. I like it also, but the Battlefield 5 already, by the way, supports ray tracing, but that game is already way more heavy. Even Battlefield 1 is still quite heavy, actually, for the graphics cards that I'm using. CPU's not, you know. Both the 4500 and 5500 have no issue whatsoever in playing that, but the GPUs, the graphics cards, not so much. So, but you see over here in DirectX, in 3D, DirectX 11, that we're, yeah, I saw it, I don't know, man, jumping between 60 to 90 frames or something, the highest I've seen it. Oh, here's hitting 90. CPU's in 33%, you see, though, this is for the CPU joke. But then GPU, 51 degrees, 98% utilization, so... here, the limiting factor is again also the GPU, you know. So yeah, playing the old Battlefield 4 a little bit. I haven't played this for some time. That's a little bit what I was saying, guys. You look at the, you know, at Battlefield 6, you know, you maybe probably, you have a better time in just playing Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 1 for that matter. With Battlefield 1 I just had lately that I played it a little bit too much. That's why I was really now into playing something a little bit more modern. Okay, that's what we have. A bit of a more modern shooter.
I have eyes on a hostile soldier south of where you are.
Son of a gun. Yeah, so as you can see, the 4500 has no issue whatsoever in playing this. Here, look at that, 30%, you know, 17 watts. Still, this game actually is quite demanding still, and I tell you why is that. It's not that my vents spin up so much, because the 4500 is really ultra silent, way more silent than the 5500. So the Ryzen 5 4500 is way more silent, which is really nice. Of course, there's also half the cache, not 19 but 11 megas cache, but it is actually really way more silent. The 4500 compared to the 5500. The 5500 you get a higher frame rate, you really do. It's Zen 3 and this is Zen 2. But yeah, the vents make more noises, and in this game over here, if I put my hand here behind my power supply, I feel a huge heat coming out of it. So even this old 2013 Battlefield 4 actually tests the system quite heavily, to be very honest. Yeah, I'm very impressed, guys, by the 4500. I've seen the 4500 getting a lot of bad reviews. Some people were more fair. The review of Iceberg Tech was really fair, actually. He was really fair to this CPU, but I've seen other ones complete dunking on the CPU. And I think that many people misunderstand the 4500, you know. 4500 is basically just a 4500G. It's just basically a APU then with the graphics core disabled. But the thing with this CPU is it's very interesting. It's 6-core 12 thread. It has desktop performance, lower cache, but it performs basically, you know, as sort of a supercharged laptop CPU. And then what I mean with that is in power consumption and in noise. It makes no noise whatsoever, you know. And no, it's not the ultimate gaming PC, but still, as an entry-level CPU, this is just a really good CPU, man. Especially compared to Intel, they need to buy an i5 minimum to get more or less the same performance, or the highest tier i3, which go for 100 to 160 euros, you know, 170 euros between that, you know, if you want to have an equivalent Intel CPU. So this 4500 for 53 euros that they cost in Portugal is an absolute steal, you know. And this PC, if you're not a gamer, but if you're a content creator, or you do just some light video editing, photo editing, and for example, for a multimedia center, sort of, you know, or like how do you call it? Like sort of that your PC is a multimedia center and a DVD player and you know, Spotify player, and then also just a browsing PC. Then actually the 4500 is really a cool CPU, because you can have it all day long on. It consumes very little power, as you can see, 20 watts. You know, it's now running here, 17 watts in Battlefield 4. So you know, you have a super low power consumption. Ooh, a little bit of you saw it over there. A little bit of a strange glitch was going on over there in the graphics. But then this graphics card is also not really made for gaming, you know. So yeah, but I think, and also for office PCs, you know, if you're a modern office PC that have then also, you know, a lot of headroom, you know, then I think that the 4100 is even cheaper. That's 46 euros. That's then 4-core 8-thread, or the 4500 6-core 12-thread for 53 euros. It's absolutely a winner, this, you know. For you know, modern office PCs that also have them some browsing and some multimedia capacity, you know, then the 4500 is a real win. It really is. I think many people misunderstood this CPU when they reviewed it, you know. They were too much looking to it as a oh, where is he? Holy God, man. Yeah, too late for the counter-attack, lol. You know, I think many people that reviewed this CPU didn't really understand what this CPU was about. This CPU wasn't trying to be faster than the generation before, the 3600 or the, you know, the 3500 or any of that. That was never the intention of this thing, you know. This CPU was really sort of more. This guy, man, he's really a stabber, you know. Yeah, I think that a lot of reviewers misunderstood. I can understand it. It came, you know, you had the 3600, the 2600, and then came all of a sudden the 4500, and then you had the 5500. Now, this is not based on Zen 3, this is based on Zen 2, just as the 2600 and the 3600. Zen 2 Plus, in that sense, the 3600. You know, and that is what it's based on, you know. And I can understand the reviewers that they, of course, they got mad because they were expecting like a new generation, the 4000 series, you know, after the 3000. That this would be a better generation than the 3000 or the 2000, which it's not. It's just a more refined version, advanced FinFET version. But these CPUs were really designed with that ultra low power consumption in mind. You know, this is why this is a oh my God. Basically a CPU that almost consumes the amount of power that a laptop CPU would use, you know. It's really impressive, you know, this. I was always impressed by the Ryzen 3 1200, but that one was still doing 35-40 watts, you know. This thing here, I've run already games in 10 watts, you know. Games from 2012 to 15 that are consuming 10 watts or 8 watts, you know. It's really, really crazy, this CPU, you know. Now you see also 16 watts, you know. Many times in Battlefield 1 it's doing 20 watts, 22 watts. It's really impressive, you know. So I think that many people miss the point of this CPU. This CPU was never designed to be like competing with the high-end CPUs. And all the comparisons I saw, they were testing it against what? Against the 3600 and the 2700, you know, and the 1800X, you know. Those kind of chips that was being compared to, you know. Against the 3600, the 3700, and you know this CPU is not. Yeah, and what was his health? 32. You know, and this CPU was not the 4500 was not designed for that. You know. With that in mind, it was designed to have a entry-level 6-core 12-thread CPU for gaming. You know. Or for a multimedia computer, office computer, you know, and then even the 4100 is good also, 4-core 8-thread, you know, the Ryzen. There's also a good understood what these CPUs were exactly about, you know. They were all thinking that they would, you know, that they were there to compete with the high-end 3000 series and 2000 series, and these CPUs were never designed for that. If you look the rest of the lineup, you have only the 4100 and the 4500. That's then desktop. And then laptop, what is it that you have, you know? In laptop and in APU, you have then the 4500, the 4600, the 47, and you have even the 4970G or something. These are all Gs that I just mentioned, you know? And these were all like APUs, but also like, you know, laptop CPUs basically. So yeah, I think that most reviewers besides Iceberg Tech and Tech City, Tech Yes City, I think it's the name of that channel, that Aussie, that crazy Aussie guy. Yeah, they were the only ones that gave the 4500 a fair review and understood also the purpose of that of the 4500. You know, I think most reviewers missed really the purpose of that CPU. They were just like, okay, we're gonna now test it against the previous series high-end stuff, and okay, it's not that fast at all. Actually, it's in that sense a downgrade, sort of, you know. And I've just looked to that CPU like that, you know. But these CPUs were never designed to be competing with the high end. They were designed for entry level, and they were designed with literally a power consumption and noise and that kind of stuff in mind, and getting a refined version of the 3000 and 4000 series CPUs in people's hands with very low power consumption, you know, that's not there to compete with that, you know. So they missed the point of the 4500. I really think that. Yeah, most other reviewers. Yeah, it's an excellent CPU, this. If you want to at home have a system that you have all day on, you know, that is really silent, that can do a lot of multimedia, can do some video editing, you know, can do audio production and stuff like that, you know, that doesn't make noise, doesn't consume a lot of power, you know. It's very capable of doing a lot of things. No, you're not going to get the highest gaming frame rates on it, but then again, is what I'm saying. That wasn't the point of this chip, you know. They didn't design this chip to be competing with super high-end gaming CPUs. That was never the point, you know. That's why it only has also 11 megas cache, and not like the previous generation 19 or 36 megas of cache, you know. So it was never designed to be competing with those things. Ah, Kropukulus is really the bayonet guy. Yeah, many people missed the point of the CPU. They really did, and they've just dunked on it. And also not in consideration taking the price, you know. Now, for example, if you see the 4500 and you see the 5500, and in some shops you can literally buy the 4500 for 65 euros and then the 5500 for 69. If there's a 5 euro price gap, then you should probably get the 5500. But it is more noisy, the 5500, also a little bit more powerful, and uses more power. On the other hand, if there's a 20 euro price difference, then actually the 4500 is totally worth it, you know. Or if your goal is to make something that is can perform really well, but doesn't consume a lot of power and is ultra silent, then you should probably go for the 4500. If you look at the price difference of 20 bucks in many shops between the 4500 and the 5500, that is exactly also kind of the performance difference that you get in gaming. In other applications, there's hardly anything between it, you know. So it's also like very fair priced. But if you have the 4500 and the 5500 with a 5 euro price gap or something, or 10 euro price gap, yeah, then you should go for the 5500. If you're into gaming. If you're not into gaming, holy moly.
Objective Delta has now been taken.
Here's your meds. Pick it up. Pick up the med kit.
There's an enemy LAV positioned south of your location.
So for an office or something, or for somebody at home that's not into high speed, how do you call it, high frame rate first person shooters or something, or you know, modern gaming, but then I would even recommend the 4500 over the 5500, to be very honest. It's used for other things, or for video editing or something like that, you know. Not on a professional level, but you know, at a more, you know, then I would even recommend the 4500 over the 5500 already, because it's a little bit cheaper, you know. 15-20 bucks cheaper, you can still buy almost you know, a solid state drive of 240 gigs of that kind of money that you save on the CPU, you know. Or you know, use that to then spend you know, spend that in your RAM or something, and then put some extra money over there and buy some RAM or something, you know. So also for a entry level system, you know, is you know, is a good deal, you know. You can think, well, you know, would it be really so worth it to basically save that money, you know? But yeah, it can really, for some people, really make a difference, you know. 20 bucks or 20 bucks here, 40 bucks there, you know. If you are really on a tight budget, you know. And the difference can be for you that you choose between the 45 and the 5500. You save 20 bucks and you can buy for that money then a solid state drive of 240 bucks for your operating system, you know. Or for, you know, add that to buy them, you know, some extra memory or something, you know. That can make really a difference, you know. So it depends on what you're doing, you know. But, yeah, 33 health. I really think that the 4500 is a really interesting chip and a very misunderstood CPU. Yeah, or if you're more into indie games and other types of games, you know, strategy games or something like that, or even how do you call it, esports games or something, then for most people, if you have buy with this CPU even a nice graphics card, you know, then 4500 does great in many esports games, you know. It really does, you know. It's really crazy. It's capable of achieving very high frame rates in Valorant and in Apex Legends and how do you call that, Dota and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, it's really interesting CPU, man. And especially the noise, man. If I'm sitting next to this PC, I now just load up a game, you know. Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 4. You know, it doesn't matter, you know. And this PC, it doesn't even really spin up when it starts gaming. Yeah, the only thing I let to spin up is my graphics card. Because the CPU doesn't even spin up, you know. The power draw is so low, the power consumption is so low of this thing, you know. And it doesn't get hot at all. Look at the CPU temperature, 49 degrees in this gaming, you know. And it was already for several hours on, you know. It was already hot, you know. It's really, really incredible, the CPU. I'm really a fan, actually, of the 4500. I know it's a little bit crazy, but I'm really like, you know, a silent freak, you know. I hate noisy PCs. So yeah, man, it's for me, and then also the power consumption and still the performance that, you know, because I don't want to look to all CPUs also. I think this is also the problem with these. The most reviewers, they test CPUs only for gaming, you know. It's always, yeah, okay, it doesn't get higher frames than this or that CPU, therefore it's shit, you know. But, you know, there's a lot of CPUs that are, they are not really designed for that, you know. You know, there's a lot of people that go then to YouTube and they see a couple of reviews. Okay, yeah, this CPU is better because in this and that frame it gets, in this and that game they get higher frame rates, you know. And then all these videos, they're creating a bad reputation for a CPU that many folks at home could probably perfectly use this CPU, you know. They don't need, you know, a $300 X3D chip with the way that they use their PC and occasionally play video games, you know. I mean, you know what I mean? And that's sometimes a problem that I have with these bloody channels, you know, where everything is always in the high end and everything is always... This guy, this Kropukulus, is really a hardcore... let me see, by the way, his rank, number 14. Yeah, I sometimes irritate myself a little bit on channels that only, and graphs also, they only look to CPUs in like, yeah, okay, highest frame rate in video game and in Cinebench, and which is very artificial, you know. Cinebench is not a real representation of everyday computer using, you know. You know, and in games also, you know, yeah, okay, you get in this and that game, you get then, you know, but, you know, I think it would be really way more interesting also channels that start testing CPUs not just in gaming, you know, or in Cinebench, you know, but start, you know, in normal applications. But most channels don't do that. It's all about frames, and it's over there. Yeah, that $600 CPU of Intel or AMD X3D, whatever, i9 Ultra is then, you know, not 350 frames, but 570 compared to the $100 or $50 CPU, you know, and therefore it's good, you know. But you know, many people don't even use their CPUs like that, to be very honest. I think we are way too much testing stuff really for the high end and for the hardcore gamers, and forgetting that many casual people, you know, or people that just need something for the office or for at home or for studying or for, you know, editing their video projects or something, you know. They could perfectly live with a 4500 or a 5500 for that matter, you know. But if you like noise, you know, then a 5500. But if you don't like noise, the 4500. 4500 is, it's just really a pleasure to sit to this PC. There's that guy again. Kropuglus knows only how to stab people. You know, it's really a pleasure to sit next to a PC. The nice thing, by the way, guys, I have here a good comparison because I have two PCs basically with the same motherboards in it. The 5500 and the 4500 both have an ASRock and an Asus B450 motherboard, which is actually Asus and ASRock are made by the same factory, you know. ASRock is a daughter company of Asus. And the funny thing is also is that I have the same power supply on both PCs from Seasonic, and on both PCs I'm using the same Aerocool. What's the name of that? I don't remember the name of the cooler. Let me check.
Lost objective Charlie.
It's the Aerocool Raven 4 CPU cooler that I'm using on both PCs, on the 5500 and the 4500. So they have basically the same motherboards, from the same fabric brand basically, because ASRock and Asus, they belong to each other. They make it in the same factory. The designs are even basically almost the same. And then the power supplies are the same I'm using. The CPU coolers are the same that I'm using. And let me tell you, there's a night and day difference in the noise that the 4500 makes compared to the 5500. With the same power supply, the same CPU cooler, it's day and night difference. The 4500 is way more silent than the 5500. It's really impressive. Power consumption is about maybe 10 watts to 15, 20 watts max lower than the 5500 to 4500. But the noise, the 4500 is way more silent, you know. So we can exclude like a power supply or CPU cooler because they use the same power supply and the same CPU cooler, you know. And on one I'm using the Quadro K2200 and then the FirePro W600. But those workstation cards, they make the same noise, both of them. So there is no difference in both PCs besides even just the default power settings and vent settings and everything. So there's no difference in these PCs whatsoever besides the CPU, and the noise difference is really, really big. So it's very interesting CPU, the 4500. And the power draw also, that you can see over there, 16.7 watts in this moment. It's really impressive. It's really crazy. But runs this game on the 5500, this was now already doing 35 watts. So this CPU, it has half the cache, it's also using half of the power. And this is why it's so bloody silent. And by the way, with my talking, very, very distracted, guys. But sorry about that. I always have that. Oh my god. Ah, there's one over there. By the way, on the 5500 I use 3200 megahertz memory. On this one now I'm using 2666 megahertz memory. So I could go up here even upgrade here still the memory to 3200 because I'm on 2666 in this moment. But maybe I get then another 10 or 15 frames maybe. That's being very generous. Being generous, basically. Yeah. I'm really a fan of this CPU. I know it's maybe stupid, guys, but I like the 4500 very much. I'm very much a silent freak. I like also CPUs that almost consume no power. I just like that idea, you know. Not that it really matters so much. I mean, your electricity bill, if you go from 20 watts to 50 or 70 watts of the CPU, you know, in your electricity bill, you're talking about maybe in a whole year, it costs you 12 euros more or something that, you know, in a year. I mean, you know, not going to be really because of that, you know, of your energy bill. It's not because of that, but I just like that, you know, because what does this also mean? Look over there. So we are 17 watts in power. We are on the CPU 49 degrees, you know. Now, Horizons can go up to 80, 85 degrees, 90 degrees even, you know. What's the cool thing of this is this CPU running on 48 degrees and 30% load, you know. You can overclock the hell out of this thing, you know. Why? The temperature is really low, 50 degrees. Already gaming for a long time, you know. 31%, you know, 17 watts. So we have lots of TDP and basically power left in this chip. So this 4500 you can overclock the living daylight out of it. And then it's probably gonna run on like 70 watts or something, 65 watts, you know. So yeah. If you have a B450 or a B550 motherboard, you can overclock this thing like there's no tomorrow. And that was, by the way, also so cool of the Ryzen 3 1200, you know. That when you can overclock also like crazy, because uses very, very little power, it doesn't get hot.
There's your med kit.
Yeah, I like that, you know.
Here's the medkit.
So yeah, look at this CPU as sort of as a almost like a
Pick it up.
a laptop CPU, then top of the line basically, and then I talk about that because of the power consumption and because of the noise it doesn't make, you know. It's not that this is exactly the same as what you would find in a laptop, but it comes very, very, very close to it. Yeah. It's a very interesting chip, this. I come from the FX era, guys, where we had FX 8320s, you know, that were running on 125 watts TDP, you know. And that chip performed probably 8 to 10 times worse than this thing I'm running here now, you know. That's using 17 watts, you know. I mean, you know, you need to love that, you know. We're a decade later and we have CPUs a decade and 1 or 2 years later, you know. Maybe 12 years later and we have CPUs that perform 8 to 10 times better and consume... what is that? Let me see, 125 watts to 16 watts, you know? I mean, it's like, you know... Those FX CPUs that were... you could literally heat up your room with those things, with those CPUs, yeah. Pulled a lot of amps out of your motherboard. Yeah, really crazy, you know. This is why I love that, you know. And they were noisy, they made a noise... They got really hot. They burned your voltage regulators on your motherboards and your chokes. You know, the FX. And now we have CPUs that run in 17 watts, you know. And they run the game better than the FX, because the FX would now be full of... It would have a high frame rate, but it would be full of little micro stutters here and there. You know? Yeah, really, really impressive. Still have my FXs, by the way, laying over here, and I would never sell them. I love my FX. I have here still 3 computers FXs. I have 2 4300s and I have one 8300, which is actually an 8350, but then with 95 watts TDP that I used from 2013 to until half a year ago, that CPU. I love that CPU, by the way. They were horrible CPUs. They were loud. They ran hot. They pulled a lot of power out of the wall. They were horrible, the FX, but they kept on. They took a licking and kept on ticking, as they say. They kept on working those things, even if you overclocked them. They were really, really fun, the FX.
Ana. Hello, boys. Don't repeat, we just play.
Yeah, look, guys, CPU temperature of this thing is really incredible. With that Raven 4 Aero cooler, it's incredible.
Bana ters geliyor yani tam.
Now, am I a person who straight away overclocks his CPU? No, this one I'm not even going to overclock probably in the next 2 or 3 years. Probably until the PC goes out of its guarantee. I don't even feel the need to overclock this thing, really. But I have a B450 motherboard, so in the future, if I then want to overclock the CPU, I can overclock it. Because if you have a B450 or B550, you can overclock it, you know. So then in the future, I can overclock the CPU, the RAM. And then you can even pull still a lot of life out of this CPU. And this is also nice of these low power, low heating CPU. Look at, I'm really impressed. 48 degrees, you know, on a CPU is crazy, you know. 6-core 12 thread already gaming for, you know. It's incredible, you know, 48 degrees, look at that, 29% load on it, 16 watts. It's incredible, that, really.
Now control, objective Echo.
Yeah, so I was already a fan of the 5500, but I'm now even a more fan of the 4500, and I know that many people are gonna maybe find that weird or whatever, but I love the 4500. The most dunked on and the most disliked CPU on YouTube by a mile. And I don't think it's deserved. I really don't think it's deserved. I think people just misunderstood that CPU and tested it wrong, you know. I keep on saying, I think most reviewers test CPUs wrong anyway. It's always Cinebench, it's always, you know, certain hand-picked games, and it needs to then really outperform whatever was before, and otherwise it's shit, you know. And that is just, I think not so fair, you know.
Objective Foxtrot is now in our control.
You know, you should test CPUs, you know, also as family computers or as office computers or as a multimedia, you know, sort of a set box experience where people will watch their media and their movies, you know. No, you know, or one that says a PC that is in a shop or in an office or something, you know. It's a completely different dimension, you know. But no, all the benchmarks and all the stuff that you find online, it's all about the highest frame rates. And comparing the top of the line then to, you know, a $500 CPU to a 100 or 150 bucks CPU, and then of course yeah, the $500 one is winning, you know, with the $600 one, you know. And it's also always then in those hand-picked games or then in some synthetic benchmarks that doesn't even many times reflect real life, you know. It's really a shame. Not everybody has a high-end, really expensive graphics card. Not everybody uses his PC for you know, only playing first-person shooters in the highest graphics. You know what I mean? We are, by the way, guys, in medium, and by the way, show that. So here we are in 720p on 60 frames per second. Let me see what the vertical sync I have on. I could actually put that on, some vertical sync. Prevent a little bit of, and in here the graphics are in medium. You know, now I have a vertical sync on. I can prevent a little bit. Oh, the frame rate went a little bit down with vertical sync, but we keep now. Now we keep a steady 60. Oh, I prefer that actually. Oh yes, give me a steady 60. Ooh, that feels way better, you know. Sometimes that guy, you just saw we had like between 75 to 95, up to 115 frames per second I saw during this gaming now. But this feels actually way smoother because we have now a lock 60, you know. And that going from 75 up to 115 and all the time oscillating between it actually feels way more jittery, you know, than like this. Just completely lock 60. Feels really good, this. Feels way better. I prefer lock 60 than jumping from 60 to 95 or from 75 to 115, you know. Oh yeah. This is really smooth like this. Locked. Can we go over the ice? I'm stuck, guys. Oh yeah. This is way better like this. Locked frame rate. Look at the CPU, guys. 47 degrees. 21% CPU utilization. 15 watts, man. That's incredible, man. And we're running only 2666 megahertz mega transfer RAM. This is incredible. Seriously. I'm really impressed by this CPU. And especially if you sit now here, where I'm sitting next to this PC, you can't hear this thing, man. It's really impressive. Still somebody here or not? Ah, everybody's already gone. We go to another server. Yeah, I'm really a fan of the 4500. As just an all-round chip. Yeah. Oh. I'm really a fan of the 4500. And the 5500 also, but the 4500 even more, because I just like the thing of the noise. And the power consumption, I really like that. We do Flood Zone. Jesus Shanghai, what else do we have over here? Montreal Railway, no, I don't like that map. Nunska Strike. Yeah, we try this one. Why not? Friendly fires off, yeah. It must be also more pleasant for you guys, by the way, in YouTube, like this. A lock 60 looks way better on YouTube than if you have a frame rate that's all the time oscillating, going up and down. That is, you just see that, you know? Because now it's also being streamed to YouTube in 60 frames per second and 60 hertz. And if you then have that oscillating, you just, you see that really, you know? Can we, this is actually fun to check out. Can we maintain in high 60? That will be actually really cool.
Your location.
Probably not, guys. I'm seeing already jumping. Oh, look at that. No, it cannot maintain 60 in high. No, 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 no. Oh, that feels immediately more choppy. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, you feel that immediately. There we go back to medium, guys. This is the juice ain't worth the squeezing, you know what I mean? Oh, God, they all died.
An enemy machine gunner has been ID'd just west of your bar.
Of course, from a mountain. Yeah, guys, really interesting. Very interesting chip, man. 27 health. So much that when I bought the 5500, it was 82 bucks. First, I wanted to buy the 4500. That was in that time. It was also 53 euros. Yeah, it was as much as I paid for this one now. For this 4500, it was about a year ago. It was the same price. But I didn't buy it because it was so dunked on. That, oh my God. Yeah, it was so dunked on. But now that I have bought it and tested it myself, I'm very impressed with this. And I don't. I probably in that time would have even bought the 4500 and not bought the 5500. To be very honest. That I was like, no, because I was so dunked on the 4500. I was, no, I need to get the 5500 because everybody say it's so bad. Well, I disagree. I think it's a very good chip. Yeah, the 5500 is a bit better, but holy moly. Yeah. Of course, I'm gonna die like that. This is the problem with all these channels that get paid, you know, to basically, you know, push very expensive products, you know, to people that don't need it, you know. It's not that there are not people who need it, you know, 5800 X3D. There's some people who really need it, you know, but there's also many that don't, you know. What's going on over here, man? Are we flying around in a hovercraft? Are you kidding me? Dude. What the fuck is going on here, man? Get out, he says. Get out, get out. What do you mean, get out? Dude. What are these kind of shenanigans, man?
We got the charge set at Objective Alpha. The charge is set on Objective Bravo. The enemy has defused the charge on Objective Bravo. Someone get there and reset it. I got a visual on a hostile sniper east of you. Hey, we need you in the fight. Get back over here.
God. Okay, we're not gonna jump on top of that anymore.
I've spotted an enemy sniper. Soldier, look where you're going. Stay with us. The charge has been defused by the enemy on Objective Bravo. Someone get there and fix this now.
Here we are again, guys. This is a super hack, this, man. It's really a super hack. So I'm not, by the way, dunking on people or, you know, because there are just a lot of people that, if you really go for high frame rate gaming, then you should probably not even buy really, if you have then also a recent graphics card, the more high end, you should minimum go for the 5500, the 6500 or 7000 or 9000 series AMD, you know, X3D chip or something like that, you know. I understand all these situations also, you know, but yeah, the reality is that there's also a lot of people, you know, that are not members of the PC master race that, you know, use their PC so intensive, are streaming, are playing very high frame rate games, and, you know, And it's precisely for those kind of people that the 4500 is created, and the 5500 a bit also. And just saying again, also, you don't need always super high-end CPUs. You really don't. Okay, we got a tank. Okay, now we keep again a solid 60. Let me just take vertical sync away. If we can again video vertical sync on, we turn it off.
I say get hostile snipers further in location.
Hey, 第一箱。嘿，第一箱。第一箱来了，快拿好！快拿好你的一箱！一箱来了，快拿好！这救了我。一箱来了，快去拿好！
I'm a bit distracted over here. Yeah, we see now we keep even always over the 60 also frames per second, so it's really not that bad, you know. Really not that bad, guys. So you guys don't even see probably the difference because it's always keeping it now on top of 70 frames on top of 60 frames per second. But when I'm playing here, I feel actually that this is a little bit more choppy while the FPS is higher than just maintaining with vertical sync the solid 60. It's just, but for you guys, because this doesn't drop lower, you don't notice it on YouTube. But here I actually notice it. Because this monitor is 75 Hz and it's sometimes dropping under 75 Hz, so I have just little micro stutters over here. But on YouTube you're not gonna notice it because it's locked to 60 on YouTube. And it's not dropping below that. If it's dropped below that, then you're gonna notice it. But like this not. Excuse me, like this not. I'm a glad here looking at the graphs, guys. I'm like very distracted, but I'm trying to see really performance. I'm very, very interested here in the performance of Battlefield 4. Actually, now start concentrating a little bit. Oh, what's happening? Go, go. Yeah, very impressive CPUs, guys. Yeah, I really think that they have really misunderstood this CPU, all these guys that tested it. Man. Ah, okay, I see already where I'm having a little bit of strange things going on over here. I have my my gamepad still plugged in. Oh my god, he's gone. Yeah, good times, guys. Good time. Really impressive CPU. It really is. Ah, it's over there. How they shot me behind that wooden cabinet. Explain that. Yeah, interesting stuff, guys. So yeah, guys, very impressive CPU. Need to restart constraint now. Fuck's sake. Oh. I, by the way, also see crappy reviews like that of the Ryzen 3 1200 when it came out, where people were like testing that CPU with like super high-end graphics card, and I saw other videos where they were testing that CPU running games that were asking for 6 cores and 12 threads, and then the Ryzen 3 1200 has only 4 cores and no hyper-threading, so it's 4 cores and 4 thread. And then most people were testing it for games that you needed 6 cores or 12 threads, you know, which is also again that kind of thing. You're missing the point of that CPU, you know. And it was even the Ryzen 3. That was a PC. It wasn't even really, you know, a gaming CPU. You know, it was a office multimedia CPU basically. You know, i3, the Ryzen 3 is same as the i3 of Intel's. You know, they're not really gaming CPUs. You know, they're more like normal office and home multimedia, not gaming CPUs basically. But people just test it like that, you know. And then you're missing the point, you know. That's not very well.
spotted an enemy
嘿
sniper.
你衣箱来了，快拿去！
Hostiles have taken over objective Alpha.
It's got dark all of a sudden. Oh my god. A little bit weird. It's something I always had with Battlefield 4. Some parts is too dark and some parts is way too white, too light, too... I don't know how to explain.
We just lost objective Alpha. Defend these objectives and keep us safe. Spotted a hostile sniper just east of you. Focus on defending this objective. The hostiles have armed objective Bravo.
嘿，你衣箱。
Still a nice looking game awesome in this. Really is. Holy moly, what was that all about? You see guys, 49 degrees it stays on, 29% utilization. Incredible. Really.
There's an enemy sniper. South of your position. Fall back, everyone! I say again, fall back!
Medic! Yeah, good times, guys. See this running like this. The old Battlefield 4. Dude. Oh, let's jump out of the area, why not?
Just east of where you're at. There appears to be enemy anti-tank soldiers. There's
你的衣箱来了，拿好。你的衣箱来了，拿好。嘿，你的衣箱来了，快拿走。
Defend this objective.
Ah, from there. Oh, fuck.
Machine gunner, ease your position.
Yeah, very, very impressive CPU, to be very honest. I'm really impressed by this.
手雷出。
Hell's 4, come on. Kill assist. Kinda weird now. If Hell stayed only 4, then I should have still taken the kill, you know?
你衣箱来了，快去拿好。I'm lighting them up.
Health 6, and then he gets killed by here. Squad counts as a kill. Make it make sense. The one before he stayed on health 3, and I didn't got. Counts as a kill. Explain that.
Due east of where you are at, appears to be an enemy sniper.
嘿，你的衣箱来了，拿好。
Due west of your location, there appears to be an enemy boat.
嘿，你衣箱来了，快拿去。
Hostile have armed objective Alpha.
快拿好你的衣箱。衣箱来了，快拿去。
The enemy has destroyed objective Alpha.
快拿好你的衣箱。 嘿，你的衣箱来了，拿好。 嘿，你衣箱来了，快去拿好。衣箱来了，快去拿好。
Where is you, son of a bitch?
The charge is set on objective Bravo by the enemy. Objective Bravo is clear from the hostile charge.
快拿好你的衣箱。
So with a better graphics card, we can even, you know, get way more out of this CPU, you know.
快拿去。
Can be really sure of that, you know.
衣箱来了，快拿好。嘿，你的衣箱来了，拿好。
The enemy has taken our base.
你的衣箱来了，拿好。 你的衣箱来了，拿好。
Fall back! Keep the objective safe.
Oh, what was that?
你的衣箱来了，拿好。衣箱来了，快点拿走。衣箱来了，快拿去。
Man, some parts on this map is so dark, man. You can not see fuck all.
I spotted an enemy sniper located to the east. I
快来点
spotted
炸
an
药！
enemy sniper due east of where you're at.
快拿好你的衣箱！
Just east of where you're at, there appears to be a hostile machine gunner.
嘿，你的衣箱！
East of where you are, there's an enemy tank. The charge is set on objective Alpha by the enemy. West of your position, there's an enemy vehicle.
Where did he go? Jonathan, is he coming? What the fuck?
Due south, enemy vehicle.
拿去你的衣箱！
Be advised, we have located the charge on objective Alpha. Enemy machine gunner. Due east of where you're at.
Else 4.
Enemy sharpshooter spotted. Just west of your position.
你的衣箱来了，拿好。快拿好你的衣箱。你的衣箱来了，快拿好。你衣箱来了，快拿去。嘿，你衣箱。嘿，你的衣箱来了，快拿走。
Oh god, son, what did you do?
嘿，你衣箱来了，快拿去。快拿好你的衣箱。
Alpha, it's Alpha, enemy.
快拿好你的衣箱。
Search and verify your location.
你的衣箱来了，拿好。你的衣箱来了，拿好。
Holy moly. Plays really well on this CPU. Really
箱来了，快
incredible.
拿去！
I'm very impressed by the CPU. I really am.
嘿，你的衣箱来了，拿好！嘿，你衣箱来了，快拿去！快拿好你的衣箱！
There appears to be enemy heavy armor south of your location.
快拿好你的衣箱！嘿，你衣箱！
I need repairs for my vehicle. Hostiles have armed objective Alpha.
拿去你的衣箱！
Okay, I need a
嘿，
mechanic
你衣箱来了，快拿去！
All right, thanks.
嘿，你的衣箱来了，拿好！ 嘿，你衣箱来了，快拿去！衣箱来了，快点拿走！嘿，你的衣箱！衣箱来了，拿好！
Charge is in objective Bravo by the enemy.
你的衣箱来了，拿好！ 嘿，你衣箱！衣箱来了，快去
All
拿好！
units, we have successfully
Hey,
disarmed
the Ishan来了，
objective
快拿走
Bravo.
快拿好你的衣箱！你的衣箱来了，拿好！衣箱来了，快拿好！你的衣箱来了，快拿好！
Spotted an enemy sniper to south of your location.
嘿，你衣箱来了，快去拿好！你的衣箱来了，拿好！嘿，你衣箱！ 你的衣箱来了，拿好。
I spotted enemy interceptor full west of your location.
Sixteen, 16, 32. How long we still have to go here? 31 minutes left. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for today, guys. Already late. Anyway, this was a little bit Battlefield 4 on the 4500 and the W600. Very interesting test. Very impressive. This. So far, what I lately have tested is a very impressive CPU. It really is. If you understand what it is, you know, if you don't, if you treat it for what it is and for what it costs, then it's a fantastic CPU. Anyway, guys, I hope to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and as always, catch you in the next one. Cheers and beers.